All right. Welcome, everyone. I see a couple of people in the waiting room. We'll just give everyone a couple of seconds to join. Thank you for joining us today. We're very excited for the final product webinar of 2024. Awesome. Everyone's kind of trickling in. As we get started, why don't we put in the chat where everyone's chatting in from? I know we do this every single month, but it's nice to see all of the different locations. Put it in the Q&A. Everyone is muted for this webinar, so keep in mind if you have any questions, Q&A is open. Brazil, that's amazing. I wish I was in Brazil right now, sitting in cold Canada. Welcome. Montreal, that's awesome. I'm actually going to be in Montreal next week. I'm flying to South Africa and I'll be going via Montreal. Toronto, great. Welcome, everyone. London, brilliant. It must be late there for you. Welcome. New Brunswick, excellent. North Carolina, Cape Town, fantastic. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you, thank you. We've got quite a couple of people that have already joined, so we'll get started. Today you are joined by just me. I'm product manager here at Athennian, and we'll be running through our monthly product webinar where we kind of run through updates. This is the final webinar for 2024, so it has been a fantastic year. We have had a number of these. I actually think we're kind of verging on 9 or 10, which is amazing. And we'll keep this trend running in 2025. We have some exciting things to go through today. So as we kind of run through everything, keep in mind everyone is muted. But if you do have any comments or questions, the Q&A is always open. All right, so before we get started, as usual, if you are new here, we follow the same process every single time. You are going to receive an email with a link to download the full webinar deck. You can share this with your team. You can keep this on hand if you need to, but that will be available to you by email. The recording is also going to be available, so keep an eye out for that. You will always have access to these if you join them, and if you have to leave early, those are also available. So it's nice to know that you can kind of follow through even if time runs out. Questions, as I mentioned, put those in the Q&A box. We address them at the end of the webinar, and I keep an eye on them as we go to make sure that you get all of your questions answered. And then we send out a survey after these to make sure that you're getting the most out of them. If you have any ideas or any feedback, please send that through. We take it very seriously, and we try and improve them as we go month to month. So for today on the agenda, we're going to be covering some exciting things. We're first going to take a look at 2024 as a whole. Now, we do a lot of these product webinars. We've also been launching quite a few features, and we just wanted to take a moment to recap the best of 2024. We have some client success stories that we have a little video that we've put together where you can listen and learn how teams are using the features that we have implemented as well. And then I'm also going to run through a product demo. So if you have missed anything across the year that kind of piques your interest, or you see something that you didn't know we had launched, please let us know. The CSMs that manage your accounts also join a lot of these webinars, so they take note of who's asking what. So keep that in mind. If there's anything missing that you'd like to see, let us know and we can reach out to you and show you how everything works. Then we're going to look at 2025. So I want to be very specific and mention that this is not the full 2025 that we'll be running through today, but as the holiday approaches and as these webinars kind of trickle down, as everyone is signing off for the end of the year, we don't want you to come into 2025 not knowing what to expect. So we're going to run through a couple of the first features that you'll notice as a team. Dates will be announced closer to time in January, but just giving you visibility into what to expect as you sign on once you come back from holidays and a bit of a break so that there are no surprises. So we'll be running through that and then we'll jump into a Q&A. Before we get started, I want to kind of get things going and see how excited everyone is for what we're about to run through. And I'm going to put a poll up. I would love to know what you think was the best of 2024 before we dive into anything as a team. What did you find most helpful? So I've got the poll up. I'll give it about 20 seconds. What features did you enjoy the most out of what we've launched? So we launched AI, structure charts, secure sharing in minute books, French translations, which I know is big for a lot of people, file forms as well. The US is kind of keeping their eyes on that too. And then there might be other features that you have found more valuable that we've launched that has impacted your team. Let us know. I'd love to get a bit of an idea of what is most impactful. And then as we're running through the different individual ones, I can spend more time on some than others. Perfect. Getting lots of responses. That's great. I'm actually curious if you've answered other, could you put in the Q&A what that was? That's really good to see. All right. 5 more seconds. Looks like structure charts are actually leading the way, which is very impressive. And then Athenian AI is coming up close. Expected that, which is great. All right, I'll end that there. Thank you, everyone. Perfect. We'll move that through. I'll share the results with the teams. So this is what we're seeing. Garima, can you see that? I think you can, but I've got the results up here. Perfect, perfect. So Athenian AI, structured charts, minute book, secure share, huge value here. And we can reach out to the individual teams as well and make sure that if there's any questions there that you need dived into, we can elaborate on that with the CS team. All right, let's get started. So let's celebrate. We're very proud of what we've achieved. A lot of work has gone into these features. And as you know, our process is very, very involved when it comes to clients. We want to hear your feedback. A lot of the people on the calls today have been in meetings with me, with the rest of my team, have been in design meetings, kind of running through prototypes of things. So if ever you want to be involved in that process, let us know. But we're here to celebrate today. And the most valuable launches, we kind of touched on a little bit, but I didn't mention this in the poll, but OpenAPI has been huge for us. That has been one of the biggest launches we did this year. It was way back in April, I believe. And it opened the door not just for integration into your tech stack, so different tools that you have at hand that you would like to integrate with Athenian data, but also partnerships with other companies and teams that have built products that are already ready to go. People like file forms that have integrated with us that just take the data straight into their tools and continue that workflow through. So we're very proud of that launch. It has opened a lot of doors and it will continue to open doors for us in 2025. If there's feedback with anything you'd like integrated with, let us know because we take that, again, very seriously and we think about things ahead of time. So that's been one of the key highlights. Another one, structure charts, which I think a lot of people have voted for there in the poll. Agree, completely agree. The product manager behind the charts is Haisem. I don't know if he's on the call today, but he has put a lot of effort into that. And I know the engineers as well. They've been in close partnership with a couple of clients to make structure charts really valuable. So you'll continue to see that as well in 2025 as we go. And then we've got AI. It launched mid-year. That has been huge. It has been one of the fastest growing products we've ever launched, and we are continuously improving it. We have some things coming out in the next 2 weeks that you'll see, and I'll be running through in the product demo today a couple of the updates we've made last week. So keep an eye out on that. It's continuously improving. And I know I actually meet with a lot of clients both this week and in the weeks coming to hear what you'd like to see next, which has been very valuable. And then minute book secure share, custom roles is another thing we launched. So really kind of tailoring and adjusting roles in Athenian to meet your team requirements, overview customizations, making sure when they sign in, they see what they need to, nothing more, nothing less. And that's just some of the key highlights of 2024. So it's been a fantastic year. Now, jumping into the value of these releases, it's very easy to say, oh, we've released something. And sometimes your team might not be aware of ways in which this can help you in your workflows. So I want to dive into that a little bit more, how it can actually impact your day-to-day, how transactions can be improved and automated using these releases. And the first thing we've heard directly from clients, I have Garima on this call as well. She's very involved with this. She gets a lot of feedback and case studies done, but there have been 3 key highlights. And this is across across all features. So not just charts, not just Athenian AI, it's collectively looking at all of these additions that we've brought to the product and how it's helped streamline transactions. And we've heard that things like KYC requests are taking 20% less time. And that's because it's easy to get chart structures. It's easy to find signatories. It's really easy to get people information, upload documents into the system. Things like that are improving the way people are doing work and doing entity management in their day-to-day. And we've got cost savings as well. You'll hear this in the video upcoming. This has been huge. Just to speak of this, we say that at least $10,000 in legal fees have been saved for this one tax team, and you'll hear about it in a second. But just so that you know, it's specific to one transaction. This is not a cumulative of multiple transactions across time. It is one transaction that this team was working on that they needed help with, that they needed to automate. And with Athenian and with all the tools we brought through in 2024, they were able to do this almost instantly, and it saved them $10,000 in terms of legal fees with external counsel. So that's huge for us, and it's something that if you haven't realized it could help you and your team, let us know and we can kind of walk you through what that would look like. And then collaboration, this is a theme that we always run on, but we're just seeing it more and more, and it's becoming evident that tax is relying on us, finance is relying on us, legal as well, treasury as well. And so know that at the heart of all of these features that are coming out, we really want to drive adoption across your entire team. It's difficult keeping all of the different departments in line with one another and aligned and no bottlenecks when it comes to getting things done. So if you have feedback, there has already been tremendous amounts of feedback. But again, if you have feedback, please let us know. I know there are things like working on documents, and some people actually work in documents instead of tasks, for example, and they would like to see that in the application. So keep this coming. We take note of everything, and we take that into consideration as we build out our roadmaps. All right, so let's hear testimonial. I'm going to play this video. It's about 3 minutes, but this is from 3 individual teams in Athenian. They can't join us. Everyone is busy at the end of the year, but we were able to get testimonials. So we'll give this a listen, and this is firsthand how we've been able to impact their organizations with the new products.
My poor VP tax I was talking about before, luckily he's now well-versed in Athenian, had to go through every single one of our nominee entities and validate what they were and provide all the documentation, all the backup for it. So I was over 100 entities that he had to do and go through all this. So it was great because I think he caught 4 that we needed to true up our agreement. So I was pretty happy with that as a hit rate, but he was able to get everything he needed just from getting into Athenian and going through and validating, which again, if we had to do that, like I don't even know what the bill would have been from external counsel. It would have been at least easily $10,000 for that bill. And the great irony of it all is that we got everything ready and he filed right on time. And then the government said, oh, just kidding, we don't need it. So it kind of was all for naught, but it was a good validation of the system. It was, again, back to my single source of truth. It was very validating for that.
I'd say but for now, probably about 20%, which is quite a lot, because if it saves me, it saves me 10 minutes out of each task, that's a lot. That all adds up. This is, and so it gives me an extra hour a day sometimes. And as I say, dealing with the other team members, smaller requests. So yeah, I would say about 20%, but that's purely on the AML side, having one information. I think when we come to manage if the AI kicks in, and also managing all the tasks and deadlines, I think that percentage will probably go up.
Now, legal still manages the information, updates the information in Athenian, but finance and tax will pull that information real time. We're also using it, our tax department is always focused on what states are we registered in, and so for the foreign qualifications. So they're able to just go into Athenian and see that we're registered, that this particular entity is registered or has a foreign qualification in these 15 states, and they're actually able to see the information there, pull the filing, the registration for that entity. And so that's just information that they're using when they're doing tax filings, locally, or see where we need to file.
Perfect. Yeah, so 3 very quick testimonials. We wanted to just hear it directly from clients. We would love to have clients on our webinars next year, actually. So if you ever get an email from our team, just know that we're looking to hear directly from you what you value, what you'd like to see improve. And so we might reach out as well. But as these teams have said, it's just helped them so much. And it's so nice for our teams to hear this, because it's truly the heart at which we are improving our products and building our features out. So we're grateful for you. We're grateful for your feedback, and we're grateful to see it make an impact. Moving on, so I'll move into the next slide here. I want to quickly run through a product demo. So again, bringing you into the product, we have updated a couple of things in Athennian AI, and I'm going to jump into an environment quickly and just show you what we've changed, what new features you will see that we can kind of recognize. And Grima confirming you can still see my screen, I hope.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Great. So I'm in Athennian. This is a test environment. I'll just walk you through a couple of the updates we've made to AI. And if you have any questions, let us know. But we have been meeting with teams almost weekly. You give us feedback, and some of these items we can almost implement instantly to some degree. So if there are some clients on this call and you see something that you've mentioned be implemented, I hope you enjoy. But let's start with initialize. So as you know, initialize is the build phase of Athennian AI. This is where we create our entities. We do it quickly. You upload documents, and Athennian AI is able to surface information and then bring you the critical details to then verify and build out. So I've uploaded a document. ABZ Corp is in here. Now in this document, it is just a simple resolution of directors. There are a couple of people in here that are being appointed to an entity. And I can kind of sign in here and see. So we've got Felicia Brown, her office is President Secretary, and then we've got Lloyd Heidelberg, Vice President Treasurer, and then they've signed it. We've got an effective date in here as well too. So when I upload these documents, Athennian AI processes them. And as you know, and if you have used Athennian AI, it will surface that information and put it in key specific fields. This takes a couple of seconds. And it has been smart enough to kind of pick up the name of the entity, the status, the entity type. You can put in the formation date if that is on the document itself. One thing that we've added, which is very helpful, and a lot of our teams out in Australia and our kind of global corporations have given us this feedback that when they're creating an entity, it would be helpful to add it to the company group instantly. So we've surfaced this field for you. You have the ability to select from your existing company group fields what company group this entity and this document would then belong to. So it's just streamlining that process for you. You can select it straight off the bat. Another thing that we've done is in the principals section, when it surfaces information, if Felicia Brown in this case already exists in Athennian and she is an individual, so she is present, she acts as director on a couple of entities, she exists, it's going to auto link her to that existing profile instead of you having to go in and select that profile. And then you can always remove the link if you need to, if it's a new person and you need to add and it hasn't picked up the middle name, for example, you can add someone new, but it's going to auto link that. And I've tested this out on about 4 principles in a document. It has saved about 30 seconds of time, which is, when you come in here, you have to see, okay, who is McGilvery connected to? You would go in, you would add existing profile. There is no Trans McGilvery right now, so it's not going to connect to anyone, but it's saving you that time and keeping you from going in and having to reconfirm and re-update information after an entity is created. So those are 2 small things that we've added, but big impact. I know that a lot of feedback was given that this was a key piece that was missing, which we're really happy to have added. So I'll go ahead and after I verified everything, you would go in and hit next. You would create your classes, which is a new thing that we've added as well. You are able to create share classes straight from within Initialize. And if the document has share class information, it will automatically create that for you and get you to verified too. So we're creating entity details, we're creating principals and their connections, as well as share classes with all of the restrictions and the rights in one instance. And then you would head next and you would create that, verify the full process and create an entity within a couple of minutes. So really, really looking forward to that efficiency. In addition to that, in Centralize, you are going to notice very soon, it is not there yet. So this is a small sneak peek of what's coming, I would say in the next 2 weeks. We can now add documents to people. So as you upload a document, as you'll notice, this is the same document just for demo's sake. It's going to give you the name. It's going to give you a surfaced critical description of what is happening. So this is a resolution by the board of directors appointing Felicia Brown and Lloyd Heidelberg. It just surfaces that critical information. And then you have the ability to add it and save it to an entity. So if I come in here and I select ABZ Corp, it's going to let me save it to that in terms of the document, and it already exists, so I can just link it. You can add it to multiple entities. So in this case, let's say you're doing a rollover or you're doing an acquisition and you need to reference this document in multiple other entities, you can go ahead and do that. So for example, let me add it to North America Top Co. But you'll see this soon. You'll also be able to add it to people. And this was feedback we got, that sometimes people store documents to people records as well. It makes it a lot easier to find information. People, as you know, in Athennian act very similar to entities in that they're individual records. And so we're just extending this functionality to allow you to save it to people to avoid you having to go back into records and resave. And once that's good to go, you'd hit file and it would save those documents to the said entities. So enjoy. That's a quick little overview of what you can expect soon. Just again, mentioning that as we do these updates, they're pretty much weekly. And so you can see them almost instantly as you log in as a team. So keep an eye out for the updates. And if you ever have any questions, let us know. One other thing I'll actually mention, this came out last week, and I don't know if individuals saw this, but you can now add multiple citizenships to people records as well. So a small little note that in an individual's record, down at the bottom here, you have a citizenship field, and it is now a drop-down that allows multi-select. This is huge. It allows you to add in multiple citizenships for things like ultimate beneficial ownership documents. We know that that's a big thing when it comes to CTA filings as well. So know that that's in there, and that's going to kind of trickle through in all of your documents as well. Just making sure that you can kind of change and be flexible with whatever transaction, whatever requirement you have at hand. And small note, I can see the questions coming, keep them coming. If anything comes to mind, we'll touch on this at the end of the webinar. So yeah, keep those Q&As rolling in the Q&A section. All right, I'll pause there and I'll kind of let everyone kind of think and ponder on what we've just gone through. A lot of exciting things. If there is anything that comes to mind, let us know. But let's jump into what's coming for 2025. So I don't have a poll or a sneak peek of this, but for you to know, most of what we're running through in this kind of section is either what you will be seeing before the end of this year and we'll communicate it, or first thing 2025. So as you're going to come in back from the holidays, sign back on, you'll be told when this will be releasing and how far you can expect in terms of time, when you'll see it in the application, and also which package levels this will be available for. But wanted to give you a bit of an early notice as well, so you can come back to 2025 excited for what's coming. So first, shareholder loans, and I know a lot of people are going to be very excited for this. This is actually ready. So you'll notice I put a little ready tag up here. It's ready, but we are being sensitive with workload, with company timelines, with people being out of office, with the amount of features we've rolled out. So we're actually at a place where we're building so much, we need to be cautious of when we release what, just to make sure you can adapt to things well and in time. But shareholder loans will be ready very, very soon. You'll see it either before the end of the year or in the new year, depending on what we decide for release. And it's going to allow teams to create loan information. So we know that this is huge. Debt is something that needs to be tracked. You need to be able to create loans and borrow from entities. And then details and transaction types are going to follow very similar details to what our security section follows now. You will have transaction types available to you, and that's going to be a draw transaction type, which would be initial loan disbursement, repayment. So it tracks the payments that are made towards loans that have been created in this section. And then cancellations will be present as well. So it ends the loan if needed. This is the start of this feature. We know that shareholder loans is a big topic, and it is something that actually gets pretty in depth as you dig into it a little bit more. So we'll continue to build and iterate on things. As you know, we kind of release a V1 of things and then we keep going as clients use it. But to start, you will be able to track all of this information and it will be present on your documents as well, which is really, really helpful. So if you're excited for this and you have any questions, let us know. Your CSM can get in touch with you as well beforehand, as we communicate more information closer to time. Next is people records space updates. Now, I personally am very excited for this. I have met a couple of clients and I hope they're still on the call because I saw them earlier on. If it's the Cape Town client, then I know that this would be something that you are looking for. This allows you to add custom fields to people. So today we have custom fields for entities and it's very valuable. You can track things like ESG fields. You can track things like project names, fund names, all kinds of different pieces of information that you might need reported on that's custom to entities. You can have this available in the entity custom fields section. But in addition to that, we know that custom fields are crucial for people as well, as they act like records. And it's been a piece of feedback that we've gotten throughout 2024, and it's going to be available early 2025 for you and your team. So if you are excited for this, let us know. And then we can reach out to you ahead of time once it's ready to launch. If you need more details, your CSM can kind of walk you through it as well. But it's going to allow you to add custom fields to people, and it's going to translate into our custom reports as well. So adding into that, custom reports will be able to report on people too. This is coming very, very soon. We're going to surface individuals in the custom report section, so you can report on things like director addresses, director statuses, people and where they represent across entities. In addition to that, the extra custom field piece as well. So a lot of functionality is coming there and we're very excited for it. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Then another thing that you'll be seeing is global search. Now, we've kind of teased this a little bit as the year has trickled on. And the reason for that is we've been hard at work with this. It's quite a big project, and we want it to be accurate, we want it to work well, and we want it to be efficient. So global search is going to be available for you and your team. When you sign into Athennian, you're going to be able to find pretty much anything that you need across entities and people instantly. So think of it from the sense of if you're Google searching something and it gives you a bunch of options and results, we want it to be that easy. You will also be able to track the history of searches, which I know is big for admins. It's big for teams to kind of understand, okay, what information are they looking for? Is there something we need to update? Is there something we need to keep track of or improve? You'll be able to kind of see that data as you move through the search history in global search. The reason behind this is efficiency. Fun fact is our search feature is actually one of our most used features in Athennian today. So we saw a big opportunity when it comes to improving this for you and your teams, as it's so heavily relied on. So keep an eye out for that. More details coming sooner, closer to time as you start 2025 with us. And yeah, we're very excited for this. All right. And that brings us more or less towards the end. We have updates that are coming, our bi-weekly updates next week. Thursday, the 21st of November, you will see a bunch of new features and bug fixes and all of that come through. Keep an eye on the Help Center. Keep an eye on that small little owl icon to the bottom left of your Athennian screen. In case you're wondering where that is, it lives at the bottom here. If ever you need to see updates, that's where they would live and be, if you needed to quickly link to the Help Center pages. But that's coming Thursday, 21st, the evening of. And then for future webinars, we don't have a firm date yet for our January webinar because of all the moves and changes and holidays approaching. So we will have another one in January, dates to be confirmed. And we are looking forward to seeing everyone once everyone's back from December vacation. All right, Q&A. Is there anything that anyone has that's come top of mind? Please put in the Q&A section. I have 2 questions so far, and I'll answer them now. If we run out of time or if there are too many questions to answer, no, we'll reach out to you individually. But the first question that's come up is what happens in AI when more than one principal with the same name exists? Great question, Kathy. So with AI, I'm actually backing the project with the teams. And if more than one principal with the same same name exists, we actually look for middle name matches as well. So the full name of an individual would need to be matched for it to auto link, that being first name, middle name, and last name. And if there is a case, again, where you find it has matched the incorrect information, or maybe your data needs a bit of updating and you're not managing the people side of things too well, and you notice that there's an error, you can always unlink that information too. So again, the power of AI is that it saves you time, but we never want to take away the piece where you maintain verification and control of accuracy. That has to be in our paralegals' hands. It has to be in our legal compliance officers' hands. You are the experts. And you know what you're doing. And so that piece will remain with you, which makes AI even more powerful because it saves you all that time and gives you the capacity to look and check for things as well. But that is very edge case, and it should be an exact match to name, middle name, and last name, if that helps answer your question. Then I've got another question from anonymous attendee. So it says, I have to delete entity A that is associated with entity B. Once I remove the association from entity B, I still am not able to delete entity A. Any thoughts? I will reach out to you about this. It sounds like there's a bit of an error in there with how you're managing things. Your CSM can get in touch with you too. And then we can kind of dive into this a little bit more. So if you would like as well, just let us know. I know this is submitted as anonymous, but let us know who sent through that question and we can reach out to you. And then Patty, you've asked, will the custom forms in people records also be an added fee? That is TBD. We are not 100% sure yet on how that will roll out. Right now, for everyone to know, custom fields is an add-on in entities, and I'm assuming that our team will add into that as well as an add-on. It adds a lot of value. We take a lot of time when it comes to building these things. It maintains data accuracy. So we'll always be transparent if there is something that will cost additionally, but there'll be more on that to come once it rolls out and launches. And as per usual, we should be sending out comms and feature information up to 2 weeks ahead of time before the launch to give your team enough time to kind of digest what's coming, be prepared for it. So we will reach out to you and make sure that all of that is very clear. All right. 3 good questions. Thank you, team. I appreciate your time. Again, to kind of trickle off and end this, again, you'll receive an email, as we mentioned earlier on. Recording will also be available. Again, all of your questions will be documented. If there's anything unclear, we'll reach out to you. And then please give us your feedback in the survey. We love to hear your thoughts on these webinars. It helps us improve. And maybe in the new year, we can have some clients host with us as panelists. I think that would be wonderful. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful vacation. Thank you for everything you brought to the team and for feedback in 2024. We're grateful for you, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year.